Welcome back, everybody. Well, we're plugged in for something that is going to be absolutely exhilarating. It might not be insta-gib, but we've definitely got someone that makes it look like it is. It's your main man, psygib, facing off versus dramis, Ryan.
Yeah, and I think that this week is bringing forth what you could consider like a few tests for players, and always an opportunity for players to kind of show everyone how they weigh up versus everyone else. And this week, I think dramis and psygib is one of them. Psygib is already a well-established, super dominant, North American player, and his resume speaks for itself. He's had success. He's had some great moments on land and all that good stuff. And we know that psygib is damn good, right? Because he's just a consistent high-level player in this part of the world. Now, when you look at someone like dramis, I think that this is a test for dramis. More than it is like a chance for psygib to prove anything. We know this guy is really good. It's an opportunity where he is the projected player to win this series. I think a lot of people predict maybe a 3-0 here. But I don't think he's the one that kind of really has anything to prove here. This is probably going to be, by all accounts, just another day in the office. And then if you look on the flip side, dramis is a player that is one of the North American up-and-comers, where he has sort of done quite well in Champions, and he's always recognized to be solid, but this is, I think, his biggest opportunity. This is his opportunity to have breakout performances and take some surprising results, and bit by bit try and stay in that kind of mid-level with players like Effortless and Waz and stuff like that, to make sure they are at least able to maintain something that keeps them out of relegation period, But for dramis, this season is the season to see if he's got what it takes to stay in the Pro League as we go into future seasons to come.
See, what I enjoy about this is I'm actually a big fan of what is essentially dramis' flipping the bird montage, which is fantastic. It really gets you in the mindset for what he's going to be able to bring to the table, because that's what this man does. He doesn't give any damns, right? You see a lot of players that normally use respect as a way to, take that against their opponent. It feels like dramis, he plays to his own strengths, which is quite nice to see. He's not one of these players that seems to get in his own head too much. So hopefully he keeps that consistency and just goes in all guns blazing.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he does very, very soon as we load up our few maps. I believe we have the vetoes and the picks and the bans and the stuff you're familiar with by now. We're going to be kicking things off with Awoken Ranger versus BJ. And up next, Molten Fools / of course, dramis is kind of, I think, really spearheading Slash all the way. It seems to be a star champion. I think we see it almost every single week. Going up against the Visor from psygib. And then finally, the spanner in the works, the new blood, Strog and Pika going up against the Anarchy. But Strog, a bit different to what Strog used to be, movement-wise.
Yeah. He actually can be a bit of a nuisance. We saw some of the BM frags coming out from him as well with the little Pika plays. I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely given it a bit of a refreshing new coat of paint, it feels like, right? It's a mechanic that, although isn't obviously absolutely mind-boggling and game-changing, it's a new element that actually makes it quite interesting to watch. So it's definitely fun.
It's nice to see more than Slash sliding around.
Yeah.
Because, I think that's one of the things that I was happy to see that Strog had these changes, is purely because, the whole nature of pick and ban, that only one person gets to play Slash, right? So only one person had the opportunity to have that kind of crouch slide movement. The moment but we've had other champions like Sorlag and Anarchy with very, very similar movement. I know the exception will be someone like Clutch that has the air dash, but you could almost compare the air dash mechanic to a slightly variation of that from Athena and the hooks, where that kind of instant burst of movement in either direction. Actually, Clutch wasn't the only champion in the game that can do that because of Athena, right? So I think we're now in a position where Slash and Strog, they're kind of within the same realm, and we'll be seeing that later today as well. If anyone paid attention during the breaks, this is going to be dramis, and this is going to be psygib. We'll see how this one goes. Psygib, as you guys saw the predictions during the break screen, psygib is projected to not only win a 3-0, but actually pretty dominantly. I think he's a clear-cut favourite here. If dramis can get a map win, or dare I even say a 2-1, or even a 3-0, I mean, he passed the test.
Oh yeah, it would be a hell of a point to make if he can, although psygib is definitely going to have all the eyes on him as a strong favourite, and that's going to be for why. dramis, it looked like he had fairly nice control of that fight early on, but of course psygib comes out on top, leaving him just in pieces all over the floor.
Bold play there with the Dire Orb, but with a bold play comes a risk of death, and it's a risk that you absolutely have to take, and dramis miscalculated quite severely, punished clean for a 1-0. The dual wield, because psygib knows where he is. should be a free opportunity to get some extra damage.
Ooh.
And hang on a minute, going up the jump pad at probably the one moment he wasn't expecting. dramis with an excellent weapon swap. Now into the machine gun to finish the job, making it a 1-1. Interesting. And dramis kept the heavy there too.
Ooh, the dire orb on the entry. It's a bold play, but it still seems to be working out quite nicely for him as he actually takes the lead now. And it looks better for him, Ryan. 2 points.
And oh, definitely underestimating the LG in that confrontation. Absolutely. His health just disappeared. And he was even trying to get some extra health near that health bubble. It's one way to go for sure, but it's going to be a 2-2. And now with psygib. We always talk about the side of the map and who controls what side, but they've been kind of just running ragged all around the map. It's kind of hard to say who's got control over one side. They're just running the circuit. dramis getting stuck near banana is going to fall again. And in less than 2 minutes, we've had 5 frags. This is one of the fastest maps we've had all day, Jackie.
Yeah, this has been a lot more aggressive in terms of the early game fight. Oh, no!
Dire Orb, hello! And, well, Dire Orb didn't work at the beginning, but it certainly works now. I feel like this kind of intense back and forth is to be expected.
Yeah, well, hopefully so, right? That's what I was saying. dramis does tend to play to his own strengths. He'll go in, and he will keep going in. He doesn't want to slow down if he doesn't have to. psygib as well, a man that if you are going to pose a challenge and want to be a threat to him, he will take you up on that and really start to brawl with you at every given opportunity. That's why this is actually a pretty good matchup on paper. It's already been giving us some good moments as well. The murder hole peak going to come through, but dramis won't spot anyone out just yet. Instead, goes for the elevated face, fires off the warning shot from the rail. Oh, the tri-bolt burst coming through isn't actually connecting though. It's a lot of prediction shots coming through, but there just isn't anything that's really coming up as a big hitter just yet.
But now, finally, for the first time, we've started to slow the pace down a little bit, Jackie. So right now, it's more about, yeah, let's try and get some of that all-important information. There's a massive delay in between the heavy and the mega. It's definitely better than nothing, but dramis, unfortunately, zigged when he should have zagged, I think. The perfect catch there. psygib springing the trap and getting that guaranteed trail of LG. And he gets a rail on dramis too. This is where things might start to shift. As if it were the tide now. Mega collected here from psygib. And a significant stack advantage in general to boot. Some self-damage from dramis and getting caught consistently with a rocket, but I think in these positions where you haven't got the stack lead at all, and especially on the stairs where you're so prone to getting knocked up, you have to show respect to psygib's LG. So many of these fights, I just don't think he's respecting psygib at all in that, respect. And he's paying for it, and here we go again, another one. Looking to finish it. Double nail. Oh, double super nail gun. That one hurts.
Yeah, that's always going to be a bit rough. Here's the fact that psygib now continuously getting more and more as he is punishing. The rocket is absolutely fantastic. Here comes the aggression as well as he wants to go for glory with this lightning gun in hand. Getting dramis really quite low. Just goes for the hold on the angle. Instead wants to go all in with the follow-up. The rocket down to try and scare him. And then the success off the back of the lightning gun assault.
Always a matter of how someone can take momentum and what they can do with it. So far, psygib just absolutely running it. dramis melted again. And he's going to trap him on the spawn. Look for the rail. Missed the shot, but at this stage, it doesn't really matter too much. He's going to try and chase it down. No, he's going in for the kill. He knows that he's weak and he should be picking this one up. Let's say maybe potentially fumbled a little bit there from psygib. Those missed shots definitely gave dramis the opening, and him overstaying as welcome certainly doesn't help the situation. And double gauntlet! psygib literally just tried to double gauntlet. I mean, to be fair, off a jump pad, maybe that would have worked. If it did work, that would have been my favorite frag I've ever seen.
Yeah, it definitely would have been the definition of a cheeky frag if he actually would have been able to pick it up, but it was denied. Although, he's actually got an opportunity, potentially, to try and get himself back in the game, as he is finding kills. It's 9-6. You've still got an awful lot of time left to play with as well. There's 5 minutes of time left on the clock. He goes straight back in. This should be a frag here. If he can keep the chase on, or potentially just land the follow-up rail, psygib is very low, and he's keeping this one close. That's the 3 mega gifted to him as well. Nearly the fadeaway shot, as he gracefully glides around the map.
And he's looking for another rail. This time, though, psygib's going to go for the lower ground instead, trying to make himself a little bit more unpredictable as he navigates Awoken here. And it's been, well, remarkably high octane, because it's constant frags traded. And a matter of catching people off the spawn. psygib's given up a fair few of these frags because of that, you know, where he's just getting caught off the spawn. dramis is going in for the kill. He's not equipped to take the fight at all. And dramis, he's only kind of, I think, screwed the pooch a couple of times when it comes to whatever fight he's opting to take. You know, there's only been a couple of instances where he's gone for an orb, but it's not worked, and he's just kind of died. It's kind of living and dying by how the fights go, rather than anything outside of it so far. They're quite content going back and forth with the Mega and Heavy. There's been a delay on the two for kind of the whole time. Dual wield gets popped, but can he finish it off? Bit of a funny angle. dramis not ready for psygib to catch the sick air he does, but it should be a pickup, and it will indeed. dramis is only one frag behind now. Now, if he can win this map, that is one hell of a way to start the show.
Oh yeah, that's also a big confidence boost to really just thrust you into the following games in the series, to just get you really pumped up and ready to try and take it on. At this point as well, he's in a commanding position overall in terms of what he has to play with right now, as he's been able to get the health back. He's got a small smidgen of armor as well to aid him. Overall, he's going to be pretty happy with what he has in his arsenal. Or the aggression coming back around, fires out the tri-bolt warning, starts to get himself into a better angle as well, as he roams around the map, trying to set up to see what damage he can do. He's got that movement speed. The Dire Orb is now available as well. And psygib is looking alert, looking a little bit curious about where exactly his opponent could be at this moment in time.
I'm also looking at what this map could mean for dramis if he gets a win. Because, you know, we're going into Molten Pools next, and that's going to be a map where he gets to use, you know, in many ways, his star champion in Slash. And that's going to be some nice morale change. But 2.5 minutes away from figuring out whether that's actually going to happen. You can notice here psygib has automatically slowed down how he's approaching. You know, he's not giving up as many of those rail angles, which was actually a big start to that push that dramis would often go in, where he'd use the Dire Orb to finish the deal after landing some entry rails. It was just popped, and dramis... Oh my word, the play! The absolute braveness of that play, knowing that dual wield is available and still jumping into the belly of the beast anyway. How he managed to come off better in that fight, I have no idea.
Yeah, this sleeping giant is fully awake right now. dramis is so low, however. He's got to play the safe game. He's got to back off and get himself in the game in terms of upping his stack, which is what he's going to do. Now he's fine to actually recommit into the fight. He's also got 8 seconds before the Dire Orb's back up, so all in all, utility is going to be healthy. Fires out the warning shots. He's running out of rails, though. Only 2 bullets remain, so instead goes all in with the LG. That'll be the akimbo punish that starts to come out from psygib as he fires off a ton of explosions there, with the rockets blowing up all around him, leaving him once again staggered and low. Direct hit onto psygib. Oh, this could get awkward here, Ryan. He's fully committing to it as he wanted to try and take the fight.
He knows there's plenty of pickups along the way. That missed rail was going to be everything. He might live to regret that one. And the rocket to trade out there. psygib pushing the advantage, because that one missed rail from dramis was the skeleton key to just push in and take what was his. That's unfortunate right there. If dramis hit that rail, I think that fight would have gone in his favor. And now we have to look at what it means, right? The 1 minute warning. He's now 1 frag ahead. We have less than a minute. This would be a soul-crushing way for dramis to lose this map. He's been working so hard. A reward of a map win would certainly go places.
I would. He would be incredibly happy if he was able to pick it up here. And it seems that maybe that could be the case, actually, if he just gets himself back in the game. dramis looking to see what else he can find. Eventually begins to back off. He's got 30 seconds, essentially, at this point, but he's taking raw face damage. He wanted to open it up with a rail, but he's missing them, and these are critical as well. If he was going to find himself in the game, it was pivotal that he landed those rails. Unfortunately, he only hit one. psygib has negated it as well by being able to locate the armor, putting himself back into a pretty healthy position. Here goes the all-in Hail Mary play as he realizes that he has to completely commit to this. dramis couldn't do it. He couldn't catch up with him, and that will be the victory for psygib. They keep it close, but psygib pulling ahead at the end.
It was a bit of an unfortunate way to lose, isn't it? You know, 10-9, and dramis had been fighting so hard for so much of that. He wasn't particularly out of control. Granted, he didn't get a lot of the megas, but he got a lot of the heavies, and that's where quite a few of his successful fights actually came from. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to win a map, the first map would have been a nice way to, I think, get that comfort zone on the go. We're going into a map up next where he gets to use Slash, which, you know, we've seen his Slash do magical things. And this would have been one hell of a map to win. And just well played from psygib, honestly. It was very, very, I think, a consistent pace throughout the course of the entire thing, and then about, 3/4 of the way through, the change happened. It was just all about just trying to slow things down, and dramis, whilst he's still dedicated to these really bold plays, and most of them worked, psygib had that last laugh, really. I actually think they were pretty evenly matched throughout the entirety of that map, to be honest.
I mean, from what we saw, it looked like that was the case, right? A good majority of it was very neck and neck, constant back and forth in terms of a power struggle. It wasn't just absolute domination on one side and then the other. It did look like a pretty close game. So, it's unfortunate stuff that obviously that's the way it closes out. However, more so in the expected camp, as psygib, we pretty much know the level of consistency this man should be posting. And it seems like he's still being able to hit that mark. For dramis going into the second map, it's one of those where, is this going to hit him? Will he actually, take this card and play it too close to his chest? Or can he actually just take it as what it was, a learning experience right now, and give us something better on map 2?
Well, there's not a lot of time to reflect on it now, as we're going to be swiftly going into our next map, I'm sure. It should be Molten Falls, if my memory is correct. And, I mean, the question is going to be, how do you sort of recover from that situation? Dramis versus psygib is, like I said, this is in many ways, I think, kind of like a test for dramis. And, hey, if we're going by that first map, which has only one frag in it, and it was 10-9, and there was some crazy plays in there from dramis that were bold and brave decisions, like super confidence and stuff coming through. Sets up promising things, I think, for the rest of the series. But whether he can keep it consistent, that's where I think the test actually comes into play. Because having one good map is one thing, but having a whole bunch of maps go that way, it's hard to maintain that versus someone as skilled as psygib. Because the other two maps, by all accounts, could be super one-sided.
Yeah, it's also sort of how much energy do you actually have to expel there for that close of a game, right? Because he looked like he was pretty much really giving it his all at that point. If that's taken too much sort of wind out of him and then going back into map 2, if he just doesn't quite have the same level of pizzazz and shock factor, it might not work out as well. But we know with psygib, it's the level of consistency that he has that he could probably do this back-to-back, right? He's not really going to burn out. But for dramis, it was a good display. If he can carry on like that, then I feel like we could really have a good series on our hands.
Yeah, I think right now he's not really potentially in danger territory. No. If he can at least secure one map win, I think he can kind of maintain his position as kind of like a sort of like a lower mid-level in the leaderboards. And, for a lot of these players, that's kind of like where they want to be. No one wants to be within bottom 2 territory. And now the weeks are starting to play out and people are starting to kind of play everyone. We're starting to see where everyone kind of measures up and what their consistency is likely to look like. So if you're on the bottom end of that leaderboard, you kind of just need to be sweating a little bit because, hey, no one wants to be there. And if you can even get one map win in this situation, it's better than a 3-0. And if you get 3-0'd, not only does your opponent gain loads of points, but you get a fat nada. So whether you can avoid that, that's one of the little victories in itself. But it is going to be Visor versus Slash. Interested to see if dramis' Slash can get the job done.
Well, the movement is always going to be a treat, so at least you'll have that no matter what. But let's see if the damage that can come out from dramis will also be a nice little delicacy that is given to us. For psygib, however, he wants to try and open it up with the early aggression, charging his way into the fight, and he actually gets that initial kill. He must be so low as well.
Well, he certainly was, but near rail, there's so many pickups to collect. Molten Falls has got certain, I guess, fortification locations that have a nice amount of pickups near them. And now, the speed. It is the control of Slash that I think dramis does so impressively here with Slash. And he's very comfortable. Yeah, the Tribolt's going to finish it. And I feel like we see this almost every single week. It's like a rerun at this point. It's going to be Molten Falls and it's going to be Slash. And dramis has yet to look crazy vulnerable in this situation. I've got my eyes on it for sure.
dramis has been looking pretty good. Like, it's actually interesting to see him doing this well. He's hungry for it, though, and already delves into the action, tries to take a massive bite. The majority damage done with the lightning gun, and the follow-up, of course, off the back of the rail, as he gets 2 kills now already, just mere seconds into the opening game.
Clutch rail to finish the job, too. The kind of rail that if he missed it, he probably died. But now, looking to hit that rail angle, immediately respecting the rocket. And he knows he's over there, right? So he's going to have some mental timing on the Mega to appear. And now we're going to trade heavy for Mega, as always. Pretty sizable delay in between the two. Catching the downtime in between rails was nicely placed, but psygib's rockets were placed even better.
2 minutes. 2 kills on either side already. It's getting troublesome. Although, psygib nearly took himself out there. A lot of damage inflicted, leaving us just on 60 HP. As he'll start to push his way down. He was a little bit worried that maybe dramis was trying to protect towards the Mega and was going to swoop in at the last second. Instead, though, he was able to take it freely, come back off. That'll be the tactical coming up as well, so he can spot out and see where exactly his opponent is. A bit of a tag coming out.
Even though there was a piercing sight there, that was still a really nice shot. Even though he could see where he was, the model was tiny from that distance. But now he's landed the rail. The question's always going to be, what does it mean? He's establishing more pressure towards Mega. Hitting a slash that's trying to go near Mega is easier said than done, when she's constantly running that circle around it. But it comes down to the delay, right? Even with the crouch slide, psygib is still able to get there first. And there's a huge gap in between the two pickups.
Oh, yeah. Now at this point, things do start to get a little bit awkward as the rail taps are going to be coming through. psygib has the better stack to play with. Goes for the pop on that as well, so we can try and get the sight up to spot out his opposition, firing off the warning rocket as he goes on the chase. Although he has been duped for the meantime. He's been able to get away for now and grabs the Mega as well. Something he was hoping that he could at least, if not deny, delay.
But it's been a very back and forth so far. Honestly, I think it's just no one's really having the upper hand so far, are they? Gets a nice rocket going in for the fight, and it's even harder to land the shots on a slash that has the plasma trail activated. Not going to be a problem for psygib, who lands the trap. And I actually kind of think that's always a very common strategy. That was an excellent rail to undo the damage, by the way. But yeah, against a slash that's going to be going 1,000 miles an hour, it's always just important, isn't it, to just sit there and be patient and look for a trap. Take a fight on your terms. If slash is able to kind of get that entry rail, zip it and swap to a rocket, you can see what the consequences of it right now. How it's so easy for her to just kind of land that entry damage, run rings around you. It's kind of hard to hit her because she's so fast. It's very common that we'll see people like psygib sit there, wait for them to come around the corner, get that entry damage that they can't return, and, work around it. But psygib forced into an awkward position there. He spawned near the rail. There was not very much to collect. And dramis capitalizing, and I will admit, this is kind of what I expected to see. If there's one map that dramis could win, it's going to be this one. Because of I feel like he's so comfortable with slash on this map that I'd almost never count him out.
Yeah, and you can see that why as well, translated into the movement oh so easily, the way he's been actually actively going in for the fights now, rather than basically just being a bit of a slow attacker in a lot of these scenarios. Now he's the one pushing the overall onslaught a good majority of the time. psygib, once again, so low, nice tracing, but unfortunately it isn't going to be a big shot that comes through and rips him to pieces. dramis grabs the Mega, puts himself in an even better position as he now finds the armor as well, and he is just on the hunt. He wants to eliminate psygib as much as possible.
But you can just see the speed and how these shots are. Oh, what a rail! But dramis, he needs more than that, and he knows it. Right now, it's not going to be about any pickups. It's about just going in for the kill and trying to secure another frag. Here we go. Plasma trail was hot. But now all it's going to really do is just beat him to Mega, which, if anything, it's not the end of the world. His control over this movement is so clean to see. Caught on the jump pad, though, gave up a lot of unnecessary damage, went for one of the hard rails, where it was worth an effort, I think. And all dramis needs to do now is just run the circuit, right? He's got the lead. He has a whole bunch of frags and a lot of stuff nearby to collect as well. There's a lot of health and armor. I kind of feel like this defensive style to kind of just run away the whole time. He's not going to be at risk yet. Oh, nice shot, too.
Yeah. It's definitely a nice little attack in the rear there. Leaving a bit of an imprint. The fire down as well. That is where the rocket should be able to excel. The death from above. dramis getting quite low. And finally, he will be removed from the equation as psygib brings up his total tally to 4 at this point. He'll need 2 more kills to equalize it. We're coming up to 7 minutes as well on the clock. psygib nearly taken down. Finally will go as well, as the rail will rip him a new one.
Oh, and it looks to me like psygib actually spawned in the plasma trail to boot. So much free damage came fresh off the spawn. And a direct rocket to melt as well. That was everything coming up Millhouse right there. He spawned in the plasma trail, took a whole bunch of damage, went around and hit a direct. That was juicy. psygib turning the tide. Yeah, getting a bit grind of, hey mate, that was a cheeky one.
Yeah, this is good. This is actually really, really strong from dramis overall. The display he's been giving us has been impeccable. Movement's been great. It's all been coming together. Just depends if he can carry on with this or if psygib's going to get himself a second wind.
Ooh, what a shot. Heavy may have been taken, but yeah, that plasma trail got saved for a reason, but it doesn't matter. We still see a rail coming through. psygib has such on-point accuracy. That's why he's kind of held in such high esteem, but he's eating rails for days. Answers back with the final. And definitely cannot count him out. He's clawing his way back, and dramis missing the shot, but he gets caught on the jump pad. I assume, only assume, that psygib was not expecting dramis to have that spawn.
Well, he's straight back in as the fight never ends between these two. There's no rest for the wicked as they want to just carry on with the constant abuse between them both. Dramis knocked down fairly low, but he gets the heal off, whereas the same could not really be said for psygib too much. He's limited just having the HP pool to play with. Dramis goes straight back in, overthrows him, and that's now 10 eliminations. That's 10 big juicy frags found, meaning there is a 4-kill difference between them both.
It seems very, very scary to deal with the sheer, just ruthless aggression. However, that rocket's not going to hit its mark anywhere near the way it should, so psygib is going to punish dramis accordingly. But that's the high risk, high reward. That's kind of what I would put down dramis' play to, where he's being super in your face, super aggressive, for better or worse. If it doesn't work and he's not hitting the shots he's looking for, he's basically putting himself in harm's way and not being able to out damage, and inevitably he's going to die anyway. We did just see that the last time he fell. But when it works, he'll just delete you in an instant and reduce damage he takes quite heavily so he can catch you on the spawn, and it's not really a risk for him. Here comes the plasma trail. Is there going to be a disengage? Dramis continues to peek. He is going to have to concede this heavy though, I imagine. Yeah, Dramis nowhere to be found. He's trying to establish towards Mega now. We are hitting the 1-minute warning, so Dramis can play this defensive game. He's in a position to do it, especially with rails like that. psygib can't give up that position anymore, but it's going to waste valuable seconds. We're now 50 seconds to go.
Time being sucked away. Ooh, psygib getting once again tagged as he's left fairly low. He was hungry to at least try and get another kill and bring himself up to 8. Instead, it looks like he might just get killed as dramis again on the drive-by skates his way past, says hello, and then blows him to bits.
30 seconds left, looking like one of those points of no return to me, especially the longer this fight takes, especially if dramis gets this kill now. Doesn't even matter that he's missing his shot, so we've got 20 seconds left. He's just wasting time, isn't he? Doesn't matter at all. This should be a win, and a very big win at that, to be completely honest. I think dramis, it's pivotal for him that he can secure points every week. If he wants to maintain that kind of, like, you know, mid-level status, then, yeah, this is what it comes down to. Well done. Well done indeed.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to take it. You know, obviously you essentially tie it up now as both of you have won a map each so far, meaning we're going into the third and final decider really to see who actually overall is going to win the series with a 2-1 scoreline, which starts to make you worry a little bit if you're psygib, as really we thought he was basically just going to absolutely crush and crush hard. Instead, there was only a few moments of crushing.
I know. I know that the prediction was that we were going to probably see a super dominant performance against dramis, but it just comes down to what we see in the QPL whenever it's Molten Fools and Slash and dramis combined. He just looks so comfortable on that map. But I think that's actually where I kind of worry about it a little bit, because if you're really, really strong on a map with a champion combination, if you either don't get that or you're now forced onto a different map and a different set of champions, and you don't look as strong, I mean, that's an area to work on, right? Is to be super, super multi-talented with a wide variety of styles. Clearly, we've established that this is a style that works wonders for dramis. We just need to see an evolution of this. You know, this needs to just be one of many dangerous strategies, and I'm curious to see if our final map is going to be an extension of that. This is now going to be a 1-1, so you know, the win is not guaranteed either way. If dramis gets a win this week, that is a great result. You know, I already think dramis passed the test. You know, guy won a map, it was a really good map, and it was well played, and he looked like the man in charge. But now, he's got to finish it.
Yeah, and you know what? I reckon this is his opportunity to actually come in and do just that, going into it on the third and final decider. He's been looking pretty darn good. The aim has been actually really on point with a lot of the shots he's been hitting. The rails have been sickening. It seems like he does play on a slightly faster sense than overall what we've been expecting, but the precision is definitely there, and it's all been working very, very well.
And by the looks of these replays, you can clearly tell that psygib was being overwhelmed by it. It's kind of weird to say that, because I know psygib, he scrims against Rafa, he can scrim against a hang. Like, he knows how to fight against a slash. It's just this kind of dramis slash on this map in particular is just like a different degree of speed and just overwhelms, completely catches you off guard. And there are loads of situations where if she can just strong arm herself into you and you haven't got a stack to deal with it, then pray, because she's probably going to get the frag and you won't.
Yeah, you will just be left high and dry, and it will not go very well at all. But as the way the first two maps have gone, obviously map 3 being the big boy decider, really, this is the one where it all matters and it all absolutely counts for so much more in terms of the point standings. It's I don't know, it's been odd to sort of see actually psygib letting that one slip away. However, this does bode well, for the increase of what potentially could go down here.
But I do think Blood Covenant favours psygib. I think this is a map that just kind of fits him a little bit better. I think it's a bit more, I guess you could say, like, it's a bit more fundamentally focused. One of the things that you can kind of observe is that that kind of slash tactic on a map like Molten, it's very much kind of like a Quake champion sequence. Like, dramis, he has a strategy and he's got a champion that really fits him well, and he has a way he wants to approach it. But that's kind of like, it's in many ways kind of like a one trick. That kind of play is a one trick technique that if it works, it's fine. It exists to secure a map. However, we reach a point on a map like Blood Covenant, which is a bit more, I guess, fundamental focused. It comes down to just champions that have movements to navigate. But it's such a map that is steeped in history, and history is what psygib is embodied. This guy is, as long as he's been playing video games, he's been playing Quake, right? And he probably played this map once or twice in his lifespan.
He'll be no stranger, I'd imagine so. He'll be pretty damn confident getting into things, but we are into things once again, and already psygib has been gibbed.
Now, the thing is, dramis has access to 2 crouch sliders now, and that's one element to think about, because I would sit here all day and say, look, his slash is immaculate, and I always will rate it on a map where he gets it picked in. A huge part of that slash is the speed, ferocity, and crouch slide control that dramis has. Now he has a second champion that can do that. And that, to me, introduced quite a large question mark, shall we say, that maybe this one change to Strog has been like an indirect buff to like dramis in general. And he kills psygib. He's going to get the vial as well for the extra health. Man, the days of 2v2 where those health vials were just so dangerous, especially when he had protection. Oh my god.
Well, talking about protection, he's going to need something to try and protect himself here. As he takes an awful lot of damage, and that's the follow-up that he needed. The rail comes through. Dramis will obliterate his opponent there. And this is looking good already. 3 kills on the board there, Ryan. Just
I like what I see. I like what I see, Jackie. That's all I'm saying. Give this man another crouch slider and he makes magic happen. He's pretty weak though, and he's forcing himself into one of those difficult positions. Can he out LG? No, he puts himself out of effective range. He actually had the accuracy. He'd just backed up a little bit too far and no more damage was being done. Doesn't matter though, because a rocket up the backside. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
ouch.
Everyone's dream.
Oh, God, man. I wish that were me. Anyway. Here comes that heavy machine gun, trying to pepper out as much damage as he can. Here comes the Pika. Gets taken out, though. And he's being kept as far away from the rail as possible, but psygib taking loads of damage. Honestly, I think he made a mistake swapping to the rail. Is he going to survive? No, he won't. Well, it almost didn't, though. And now, the momentum is being picked up. psygib actually looking a little bit surprised by this pick, almost as surprised as we all are, to be honest. I know we all are familiar with the crouch slide change to Strog, but in a competitive setting, we've only really had a couple of opportunities to see it in action. Oh, the rail shot. psygib having a bad time. Dramis looking so hot right now.
Still firing out the warning shots. He's got the rocket in hand. He's going to look to try and rock his opponent's world here. Dramis, he does need to scavenge a little bit, though, if he is going to be duking it out at this point. Armor's quite low. Health is fairly low as well. Just get whatever you can to at least restock at this point. As he is going to grab himself the bubble. That's the full HP. Also gets some extra ammunition to slay with as well. And there's the full armor. So this is a much better spot to play with. He spots him out, and he's landing these warning shots to scare psygib off. Jump straight down, and psygib has been obliterated.
That to me looked a lot more like psygib trying to simply deny a heavy and conceding a frag. The question is, how much is that going to mean? Because you know, he's going to get Mega now, yes, but he's short on armor. I'm assuming there's going to be some nearby. Whether he took them down near Catacombs, I guess, remains to be seen. And it's not going to be hard for Anarchy to go and collect those. Problem is, dramis is just looking really fortified, you know, like he knows where he wants to be. He's hitting these rails, and he's making himself hard to crack into. It's just this ability for Strog to now be added to the list of champions that can be where they want to be, when they want to be. And he's just now another dangerous champion to the roster of Blood Covenant. I'm really glad to see it. Oh, what a shot. Nice little rail.
Sick.
Looking for a bit more where that came from, though. The Mega being taken, and the light armor, too. Instantly gives psygib the advantage. dramis forced to retreat, overstaying his welcome by a little bit. And he's going to concede a frag for it. Where's he going to spawn?
Ooh, Randall going through, hoping to get a prediction shot off early, but no one is there to receive his lovely little gift that he's giving away for free. Instead, it might just be the LG that does the damage, the suicide. Oh, you hate to see it.
I think psygib might have been. I feel like that was a bit of a cocky jump pad usage. You know, dramis has been hitting some amazing shots. It's kind of almost like naive to assume that he's not going to hit that jump pad shot at the same time. You know, I feel like he kind of needs to get shown a little bit more respect than that. Going in for the kill, should be able to secure it, of which he does. But not before he took a whole bunch of rocket damage to boot. And, well, could definitely go either way, Jackie. And there's plenty of this map left to go. psygib getting caught a little bit.
This could go either way. In terms of the Arsenal, at least he's got the full trifecta there with the rail, the lightning, and the rocket. So this could actually help out psygib to get back into the action if possible. He does have 5 more minutes, and he is going to be scouting out and seeing where all of these gamers are located. So he has to go on a bit of a hunt, it seems.
But now we've hit that 5-minute warning, we are once more in a position where if dramis wants to start playing that slower game, I mean, the time is now. And thanks to that crouch slide, it's possible. We haven't really seen Pika used too much. You know, there's definitely a time and place for it. Let's not forget that Strog is extremely vulnerable during that state. So dramis needs to be convinced that he's going to be safe during the entire sequence. And he's not going fast enough to land the jump. That one is a bit of a heartbreaker. He can't quite chase dramis the way he wants to. And if he wants to rocket jump, it's self-damage. Immediately takes out the Pika. So at least he's been able to take out the ability for a little bit, but yeah, that was a lot of wasted time, unfortunately. And psygib, he's been having problems with his movement this entire series.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough though. Getting him so low at this point, gonna have to drop himself back down. He grabbed the Mega. He's also got himself the hourglasses to play with, as he's going to be able to at least burn off some kind of time to help himself out. The railgun is firing, and kills are being achieved.
At last, for the whole 6 minutes of this map, I feel like psygib has been struggling with his general execution. He's been able to sort of clean it up just a little bit with that frag. He has to get 3 more to even things out. But yeah, in combination with some shots that definitely look like he shouldn't be missing them, and also movement patterns. He's getting stuck on the terrain a lot. His rocket jumps are kind of fumbling a little bit. An interesting trap location. I actually quite like the idea behind that one. dramis should, by all accounts, fall here.
Ooh.
Trying to run, but nowhere to hide, even with the Pika. psygib knows he can take it, and he's got the stack to deal with it. By no means is this one over. dramis may be in the lead, but that might be on borrowed time at this stage. Oh, my word. Oh, trampoline.
Yep, that's him done and dusted there, as dramis is just completely on a roll. He is going to be so chuffed with himself right now, especially as he still has more time to murder with as well. 7-4 right now. 7 minutes, 15 seconds have already gone by. There isn't too much left in this one, but dramis is still looking to absolutely punish as he's firing off these point-blank shots, tagging up the opposition.
I mean, we've been talking about psygib and some of his, I guess, missed execution with some of his movement. dramis hasn't been having the same problems. You know, his movement's actually been immaculate. He's been landing some out-of-this-world rails. Look at here. Heavy take. And almost like clay pigeon shooting just then. But not hitting its mark just yet. The rocket is very good, and so is the LG. psygib knocked up into the air and finished easily with the LG. Dramis, like, this looks like an entirely different Dramis. Like, this is not going to be the last time I think we see him play Strog. The introduction of another crouch sliding champion, like, this is a crouch slide player, right? And I feel like the moment he's got another champion that allows him to play the way he plays best, what an addition it's been for him. Plus, obviously, his, I mean, the crouch slide has nothing to do with his accuracy. You know, it's definitely not saying that's the only reason he's doing well. It's just, this feels like a different Dramis that we're seeing today. This is the best I think I've ever seen him play. What a result for him so far. This might even be game over. 5 frags in 1.5 minutes. That's a lot for psygib to actually have to pull off, even while Dramis is on fire. So you need to both stop the momentum and start making a comeback. Is that too much to ask at this stage? He's going to die again. Finishes it off. Dramis is absolutely a man on fire right now.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous, and he's still not done yet, as he wants to fight tooth and nail and obliterate any chance that there is going to be a standoff from psygib. In the elevated angle, the rocket's getting rained down. That's going to be the peak play. Unfortunately, he smashes it into a wall, and he himself gets a taste of his own medicine, taken out by the nails.
Excuse me, a little bit too vulnerable there. A bit of a cute play. But I mean, yeah, that's still, though, 5 frags in less than 50 seconds. A lot to go through. Goes towards the Mega. Get clipped. Super shotgun. I think this one's going to be over, Jackie. Is this going to be Dramis taking psygib 2-1? This guy more than passed the test. Oh, my word. He needed this. He needed at least one map win, I think, for like the validation to say that, yes, I am making progress. And he is more than making progress. He's cementing himself as one of the players to watch in this part of the world. Look at these shots. Even though he died, like, what is up with these shots he's hitting right now?
It's been so confident, it's been so clean as well. He just goes all in each and every available opportunity. But you know what, it actually seems to have worked. A lot of them have been really effective plays, so this is going to be pretty good for Dramis, as it's only a matter of time before he locks this down. That is going to be him taking the victory there on the third map overall, so that's it, it's wrapped up.
2-1 to Dramis, and something about this felt like a long series.
Yeah.
You know, even though the maps are the same amount of allotted time every time, something about it just felt longer than the rest. I think it's because it was just so open almost the entire time, and Dramis, he was going into this week, as we kind of said, I think psygib was a player that he's already well established, and we all know that he is of really, really high skill, right? But then you look at a player like Dramis, who is a little bit more of I guess more of a player that you're not really looking at. Maybe he's not on a lot of people's radar. He certainly will be after today's performance.
Oh, yeah.
That was a 2-1, some really decisive maps that just made him look comfortable. And I mean, look, the inclusion of Strog's crouch slide, giving us another champion with that element of movement, it's only ever assisted Dramis. He's now got a champion that lets him play the way that he's the most efficient in. Like, his crouch sliding movement is some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really, really fun to watch. It was the fact as well that he was basically just styling the entire time. And such a huge lead compared to the opener here on obviously the first map. The difference of how he was able to adapt and really come into his own by the end of this series and walk away overall as the majority winner. It proves a point. It definitely speaks an awful lot of value to what Dramis is able to do here in the Quake Pro League.
I also think, you know, to not entirely talk about Dramis the entire time, unfortunately from psygib's side, I do think this isn't quite the best form we've seen from him. He's definitely, throughout the course, especially on that final map, I can assume he might even have been like a little bit tilted throughout the course of the map, because there was some execution errors, and you know, even after that suicide, we saw a lot more of the errors come after that suicide on jump pad, and they're the kind of errors that we don't see. It's actually very uncharacteristic for psygib to make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
And there was quite a few of them in the final map, so you know, it's unfortunate for psygib, but it's the easiest thing to correct, right? If your movement's not quite right, if you're missing a lot of those shots, they are, I think, in many ways, like the most obvious things that went wrong, and in turn, the easiest things to correct for future weeks to come. And it was a 2-1, so you know, everyone's going out of this week with points, aren't they?
Yeah, he's going to be happy with that. Like, overall, that's a pretty good affair, right? Sure, if you get the 3-0, you get the extra point injection, but still, taking a 2-1 victory, that's pretty damn big, especially at this point in the Quake Pro League. If you want to try and maximize your points, you need to do so basically right now, and he's done that. He showed up. The gameplay was absolutely fantastic. Some of the shots he was landing were pretty down, you know, dastardly
Oh, really
in what
good.
he was up to.
Especially on Blood Covenant. Absolutely, especially on Blood Covenant. And he just gave us a great demonstration of what Strog can bring to the table in the Quake Pro League now, thanks to the changes that came from PTS. Now they remain here in the live client. It's excellent stuff. But yeah, one final well done to dramis. On a personal note, it's just always great seeing players that are always seen to be up-and-comers that just rise. And every week they play, they ascend above and beyond expectations. And dramis has more than done that today. We have 2 more series left to go before we're done for the night. And while we set those up, we're going to go for another short break. So this is Quake Pro League, this is week 5, and we'll be back in a few minutes' time.